we in Africa, mostly when you're doing projects, and a great number of you can attest to this. You go to the bank and they ask you for a collateral, and you don't have that collateral, and of course, you may not have that collateral. So what next? We are talking of affordable housing. Then how can we achieve that without getting the finances? For us, we've created a platform that is able to solve that particular problem. And we are not in competition with banking, because we are not a bank. I can see my fellow bankers here. We are not in competition, but we leverage with them because we hold accounts in those banks. Secondly, we are currently having a flagship, for example, a flagship project in Tindigwa. Tindigwa is right in Kiambu Road. And the reason why we took up that project is that every time we went to a client to tell him that we can leverage bank instruments, because that's how we raise funds, leverage bank instruments and raise huge funds for huge projects. And we are inclined towards affordable housing. That means for you to have affordable housing, then you must have affordable mortgage, which currently is very, very hard in the region we live in. How many can attest to that? It is actually next to impossible, or somehow impossible, to walk in a bank, and I will keep putting that exclaimer that I'm not in competition with bankers. We help bankers to do their work, and we help bankers to move to the next level, because in the developed world, a good number of us are from the developed world. Of course, the UK, the US, where our chairman lives. The way they raise funds for mortgages, that's why you hear interest rates, mortgage, 3%, 5%. We are trying to bring that back home. And when I'm saying home, it's Africa. That's why the name African Mortgage Platform. We are a platform that creates value to the developers, also creates value to the end users being the guys who take the mortgages and the housing. Now, when we are talking of affordable housing, I believe I'm not talking of a bed sitter. Yeah, I want that to sink out. We are not talking of a one-bedroom house with no facilities around. An average Kenyan or an average African has a family not less than 5. I have 3 kids, official. Yeah. Of course, they are no unofficial. It's official. And 1 wife. So we are 5 of us in the house, and you want to squeeze us into a bed sitter. So that is what we call affordable in Africa, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a 2-bedroom with a study room, because your kids must study, so they don't have to study in the sitting room. A study room, that means a 2-bedroom is actually a 3-bedroom for those who don't have kids, and they can convert the other into a bedroom. So that's what we are doing down in the Marika development. We are doing this as a model for what we are talking about, because a number of presentations have been. The main question I'm asked, or we are asked as the guys promoting this platform, what have you done somewhere? You know, that's a good question, but sometimes it's very difficult to answer it unless you're doing something. So reason why we are doing the things you're seeing there. These are actually just a model. Could have been better, but engineer, could have been better, but we are doing about 6,000 units. If we are to go by the context of the bedroom, the space, and all that, It is actually a 4-bedroom house. I mentioned earlier on it's a 3-bedroom with a study room and a guest wing. So you can imagine everybody has the same unit as your neighbor. Why am I insisting on that? Currently, what we are seeing in the African communities, you're taking out the likes of Kibera. For those who don't know what is Kibera, Kibera is the largest slum in Kenya or in Africa. So are we proud to have the largest slum in Africa as Kenyans? I guess not. Why am I saying that? We do not want to say we want to create affordable housing while we want to create another problem, a social problem elsewhere. Most of the speakers who have spoken here, they have told us that we do not want to create a situation from another, whereby you are removing Kibera, yes, you are removing the Mathares of the day. Those are slums, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. And then you're creating another semi-Kibera somewhere, because you're doing what we call the bed-sitters with a family. I guess we are getting where I'm going. Why that photo there? You may wonder, is this Kenya or somewhere in China or something like that? This is a model we are doing because without infrastructure, we are not able to achieve affordable housing in the neighborhood. Why am I saying that? Most of you live in Nairobi. But do you know the history of Nairobi? Maybe most of us know. The history of Nairobi, this was where the railway passed through to Uganda. Hence, the town developed. So what we are trying to do and where we are doing is basically being asked to move faster. I'm obedient. So I've told you that we are doing the railway via Thika, Tatu City, Juja, and of course via Kiambu. We are not in competition with the Matatus, and of course that is a pictorial presentation on what you might be seeing in the next near future. And why am I presenting this? Is because this goes in line with the affordable housing, because our model of these houses, there are 40 towers in Marika. These houses will cost about 3.5 to 7 million maximum. And that is all you pay, because we are also going to do what we call an in-house mortgage platform, because that's why we are called African Mortgage Platform. We create models which work directly with project owners, mostly affordable housing, where we leverage bank instruments. You may ask, where are we going to get all this money to do a railway on the line? We are experts in leveraging bank instrument. For those bankers who are here, we use MT 760s to raise our money in the international world. Of course, for those who know how to raise such kind of funds. And we work directly with contractors. Some of them are even seated within us. But mostly we have identified huge contractors in China. That's a story for another day because I was given 2 minutes. But in the essence, we are able to handle huge projects in the likes of what you have seen in the Marika Towers, where the railway, let me go back, I don't know. That is a shopping mall right outside Marika Center, where we are going to have a railway station across. You just cross, you drop in your house. So instead of, because you can agree with me that you cannot have affordable housing in Kilimani, that's near the city. You cannot have affordable housing in Kileleshwa, because already there, the thing is up. So reason why we went there, we are bringing you from town 5 minutes to Marika Center. And along that road, remember we are saying we are passing through Tatu City. This is already a funded project, by the way, if you ask. So our model encourages that project owners can be able to develop many housing projects and give a rent to own units, where we are able to give long-term house plans. Another disclaimer, we are not in competition with bankers. I was a banker for 20 years, and I know the challenge in banking industry is the cheap funds or the cheap deposits. But for us, we raise funds within, we have contractors within, we have our teams working within, and we are able to deliver a wholesome BOT, build and operate and transfer. Like now, the railway will be operated by our teams. That's where we leverage now and pay ourselves in the long run. Thank you. Any questions or any clarifications you want me to make? I can see a hand there.
Good afternoon. I'm privileged that a similar project of this nature is going on in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt. They call it the Rainbow Town Development. My experience in Port Harcourt, I don't know whether you are facing a similar challenge here. Government intervention. That's one challenge. 2, the issue of off-taker. 3, the issue of infrastructural support. 4, is return on investment. 5, the sociological challenges arising from this kind of undertaking. That project in Port Harcourt has about 1,008 apartments, about 9 towers of 15 floors, and 6 towers of about 84 flats. I'm fully involved in the last 7 years. Thank you. So these challenges are there. And when this was being conceived in 2010 and to 12, we had these high hopes that you're expressing here. But these are the challenges. Because we are Africans, because we have our peculiarities, which has not been properly accommodated when this has been conceived. The history of that project was that we are targeting the giant oil companies. They have failed in terms of partnering. Now there are challenges, and I just want to advise, sir, that you should look at those 7 issues. First is issue of social challenges in terms of when the building is occupied, management, and human differences, peculiarly because Africans are not known for maintenance. 2, issue of off-takers. Are you sure you have off-takers for these projects? 3, return on investment. 4, infrastructure. 5, government challenges. Thank you.
Okay. Number 1, we have government support. All of us in Kenya, especially because this is where we are, we have a big 4 agenda. This falls within the agenda that the government has. Recently, we had several meetings with the Kiambu County government, because we are under the county of Kiambu. So they have actually passed the project. So on political ground, we are passed. Now, on the financial ground, I can see you doing this, but maybe we can have another chat somewhere. On the financial part, we are in control. We raise our funds internally. We do not depend on another brick and mortar somewhere. We raise our funds internally, and that's why we work closely with the Rosenthal group. Some of you who are from Namibia can attest that the Rosenthal group was involved in the same model where they did 40,000 units. Guys are living in. It's a model that has worked. It is not that we are talking of a fiction somewhere, and that's why we said, amongst us, that can we do something so that when we go to seminars like this, we are not being asked, where have you done a project? What have you done to show that you can deliver this. So I can encourage, because we are African mortgage platform, we do not only incline towards Kenyans, we can also work with other African countries, because that's what our chairman encourages. That's the Robert Rosenthal, the chairman is called Mr. Robert Rosenthal from the USA, Illinois.